What is going on, guys? Papa87 here, and it's that time of the week again. This is AOR Spanish Grand Prix, the Oceania tier. And yeah, Spanish Grand Prix, not one of our best tracks. In SRL, I did absolutely awful. Well, sort of thanks to like lag and desync, but also just no pace as well. So I wasn't really feeling that confident, especially as this is the first time I was on F1 all day today. I was out all day with Mother's Day. If you didn't know, it's Mother's Day in Australia. Yesterday was. So I was out all day with that, and got in and loaded in the lobby and found out it's intermediate conditions for the race. It actually has heavy wet weather, but luckily it's the intermediate tyres. Well, not sure about luckily. The wets have some advantage. I mean, it's easier on tyre wear on the wets. The inters not so much, but the inters are just big, easier conditions. And for some reason, loading into quality to the race, my setup didn't save. In qualifying, I ran a wet setup, and it didn't save going into the race, so I only just had enough time to load and improvise a setup there. But we qualified P9 on the grid, which was pretty average. We've got the lights on screen now. Let's see if we can get a nice, clean start and see what happens next. So lights out, away we go. Brock does stuff alongside us, gets very squirmy off the line. It's been fairly clean so far. There's two cars on the fence. Brock's being collected, and we're immediately up to P6 in this race. Without even having to do any overtaking, we're up to P6 and on the tail of the chasing pack. Not far off the lead at all, really. And that was a dream start for us, but heartbreaking for the guys who crashed. And we're going to have a look at some replays in a minute to see what happened there. But so far, my mentality was, I just got to keep it clean. Keep it nice and clean. Try and work out where I can push. Try and work out where I can get a good feel in the car. And don't make any big mistakes. As I wanted to keep this position and, if possible, move up the field. I mean, that's going to be very hard to do. All of the guys ahead of me are very quick drivers. Jetson, Berserk, Acho. And then, of course, we've got Tim Mardick and Ryan, who are already pulling a gap to Acho, I believe, who's just ahead. Who's actually forming a bit of a three-car train, and I'm not exactly that far behind myself. As we've got a gap to Funk Guru behind. I believe Master Berserk's actually going for a move down the inside of Acho, and he forces them out wide, and Jetson's going to get both of them. And there's some front wing coming off the end plate there of Master Berserk. We thought about going on the inside there, but that's never going to happen. This is a proper scrap ahead of us, but it's damage for the Ferrari. And will he pit at the end of this lap? We're going to see in a second, as Jetson there going very slowly behind the damaged Ferrari, as Acho actually escaped unscathed for all of that, and is in fourth place. Sorry, now third place with Jetson in fourth as Berserk pits. So that's already up to P5 in this race, and that's a dream. Like much better I was hoping for this race so far. To escape the first lap without any damage and to be up on P6, oh sorry, P5. Yeah, it's just a lot more than I could have ever hoped for. So now we're on some more replays. This is Master Berserk, and we're going to see what happened there. Because there's Warden and Jared, who both retired from this race. So let's see what happens. Berserk gets a great start. Absolutely great start. Tries to go up the middle of Jared and Warden, and it looks like they're both just sort of turning to each other, as kind of conveniently my clipper is recording buffered at that exact point. So that's good thumbnail material. But as you can see, just completely sandwiched the Ferrari. I guess they didn't know Berserk was there, or that he'd had a dream start. And really unfortunate for Brock, he just looks behind and looks in front, and there's a Toro Rosso spearing into the side of him. Really unfortunate. He had a great qualifying up in P8, which is punching above his weight a little bit, and really unfortunate for him. And we're on board with some more clips. This is Chimchar. Him and Neon, I believe Neon disconnected in quali, but I'm not sure what happened to Chimchar in qualifying, but he was way down the order, and this is him trying to make a fight back. He's already made a move on Formula Fish, and Drop Bear there goes quite wide, and Rufenic Bird also goes quite wide himself. So Chimchar making moves on the first lap of that race there. So on board the back of our race, lap 5, we're not too far behind Jared and Acho, as it's not Jared, it's Jetson. Why am I getting them too confused for? But Jetson makes a move down the inside of Acho there, and Jetson actually has really good pace in this race. Acho, however, is struggling quite a bit, and after that overtake, we're actually gaining on him quite a bit until this third sector here, where we actually made quite a few mistakes. And he pulls away a little bit, but Acho didn't really have the best pace. I mean, we were only about a second back for much of that third stint, and you can see cutting the chicane there. Luckily didn't get a warning. I think I slowed down just enough. But the only issue I was thinking of now was tyre wear. As you can see, tyre wear 44% on the highest tyre, and I know my tyre wear is shocking at something. Yeah, I'm just used to in this game now. Something I've been trying to fix, but I knew it would be very hard for me to do the one stop today, and I knew that everyone else would be doing that for sure. So another clip, this is Chimchar and Def coming together a little bit, and now lap 9 for him. He's now stuck behind the decent car of Funk Guru. This is the pack behind me, by the way. I'm at P5, Funk Guru's in P6, but disconnecting all over the place. And I believe he was actually told to leave for his lag problems, which is really unfortunate for him. I mean, he can't help that his internet connection is pretty poor, but he was in a strong position, so it's very unfortunate for him. Chimchar and my teammate Neon are now up to P7 and 8. As now to come into the pit lane, we're committing to the two-stop strategy pretty early, as if I stay out as long as possible on the ruined tyres, it will just affect me down the track. So commit early, and who knows, maybe I can fluster Acho and make him come into the two-stop as well. So I was only about 2 seconds behind, so definitely within undercutting range. But going onto the track now, we built up a massive gap to the guys behind, Chimchar and that. But it looks like Chimchar is just going to merge ahead of us, and Drop Pair is also coming down the pit straight, and is going rather outside into turn 1, side by side with the Haas driver. We've got the fresher tyres, but he's got the better line through the outside. We go half on the grass there to try and leave each other enough room. Very fair racing so far. Drop Bear's got a slightly better run through turn 3, but we've got the inside line. But this really isn't a corner you can dive bomb someone at. He goes slightly wide there. We've got the inside line. Going out of the exit, we get a better exit, and we brake much later, go into the hairpin, and we hit the apex as well. And that was some great battling with Drop Bear. Great move as well. It was very essential. I made the move going to pit lane, as if Acho pitted at the end of this lap, I wanted to try and make as much time as possible. And now we've got Chimchar firmly in our sights. He's on all tyres as well. Both of them have pitted since the start of the race, and they're both probably trying to do the one stop as well. So let's see if we can get past Chimchar as soon as possible. So we're breaking down into the hairpin. We've got much better braking performance than he has, and he gets a very poor exit coming out of the hairpin. We look at the inside into this corner, a little bit of contact, and it's a very cheeky move on myself. I give him so much room on the inside there as a sort of wave apology, but he didn't get any damage, and he didn't run wide actually as well. So that's good to hear, and it was a very cheeky maneuver, and good job. I just about made that work clean enough. So we got past Chimchar now, and Acho didn't pit. He's on the one stop. I said new personal best. The only person ahead of me on the two stop mirroring my strategy is Ben, but he's like 17 seconds on the road. And yeah, there's no chance we're going to be able to catch him. So yeah, as behind us, Berserk actually sets the fastest lap of the race, and he's not too far behind. I remember back in China, SRO, and I think it was AOR, he was blistering in the wet conditions, whereas I struggled massively. And to be honest, I'm actually really surprised I'm being pretty consistent holding down P6 in these conditions. But Berserk, I knew would be a threat until the end of this race. So now lap 17 and now lap 21. We've got Acho behind us. He emerges behind us. He's on the one stop, obviously. We got a pretty poor run out of that right-hander there. And he's going to be all over the back of us. It wasn't really that threatening, though, to be fair. This is the closest he got before my pit stop. And we defend the inside line, and he brakes really quite early, so didn't really want to fight it. I guess he knew I was on the two stop and I wasn't really in his fight, but I wanted to keep him behind anyway, and there's no reason why I had to wave him past. So coming in for our second pit stop now, and yeah, it's been a pretty good race so far, it's got to be said. And we should have P5 well and truly cemented. There's no chance we're going to catch Acho in front. And we're on the final set of intermediate tyres. We made the two-stop work, even though everyone else in the field is doing the one, apart from Tim and Marduk. So yeah, it should be a pretty cruisy into this race. So coming back on track now. Look at the mini-map. There's someone coming down the pit straight, and it's Master Berserk. So all that stuff I said about cruising into this race, it's not going to be. Berserk, as I said before, is very quick in these wet conditions. He was very quick in China, AOR, and he's going to be very hard to keep behind. I've got slightly fresher tyres by a few laps, only about 4 or 5 laps probably. So, I mean, really it doesn't really mean much. As intermediate tyres, like the hard tyres in this game, they're actually pretty good when they're slightly worn. So Berserk is going to have still good pace, and the fresh tyre advantage isn't really going to be much of an advantage, unfortunately. So yeah, it'd be very tough to give him behind, and that's exactly what I was trying to do for this final few laps. And will I be able to do it? I mean, P5 would be mirroring my best result so far in AOR, which I believe I got last season in Belgium. And P5 here would mean the world to me, but I'm sure Berserk would love to complete that fight back he did. I believe he got 3 stops in this race. Obviously, we saw him in the wars on lap 1, but he's got the switchback there through the first sector, and I gave enough room on the left-hander, but yeah, this is going to be very tough to keep him behind. He's very quick, as you can see, and at this point I was just trying to assess which parts of the track I was quicker than him, which parts he was quicker than me. And the news didn't look that great, as you can see. Through lap 27, I actually kept ahead of him, but then I got a very poor run through the chicane, and Berserk is going to be all over the back of me. I'm slightly better in a straight line, it's got to be said. And when I get the final chicane right, I'm slightly quicker there as well. But he's much quicker in the second sector and stuff, and the high-speed stuff. I gotta admit, I wasn't that confident through the high-speed corners, probably, you know, with the keyboard steering cough. But Berserk's all over the back of me. He's trying to do a switch back through turn 3. This would be a great move if he can pull it off, but I'm not gonna make it easy for him. I'm gonna brake as late as possible for turn 4. We still hit the apex, and there's no way we can get past there. But we're going to have to defend the inside line down to the head, and this is an overtaking opportunity, but he doesn't go for it, thankfully enough, and it's only a matter of time. I'm sure he's just waiting patiently. He knows that he has a very good chance of getting me at some point soon, and I know I have a very tough ordeal ahead of me trying to keep him behind. As he said to me after this race, he was much quicker, he felt like he was much quicker through that section, especially like this Shoutout turn 9, and he has a great run this time. Got to defend the inside line. He goes to the outside line. Will he try to switch back, or will he try and hold it round the outside? I think he's trying the latter option. He's got to leave him room on the outside. A little bit of contact, but he's still there. We get the inside line for this. And so he goes slightly wide on that curb. We had a very awkward line, and that's given him a chance to sneak up the inside, going into the right-hander. We now got another right-hander here. We're trying to hold it round his outside. A little bit of contact and trying to force it wide. Now we're trying to go down the inside at the chicane. A little bit of contact to ride massively over that curbing. Got a warning from that as well, and he's got the position, but he's has a very poor run at the final corner, and we're in the slipstream. Can we get past him down the back straight? We've got better straight line speed, just about. I'm sure he's using rich mix, I'm using rich mix. Can I get the position back up into P5? And we brake later than him. We try to look around the outside. There's a little bit of contact, and we slid off, and we have to set up P6 now. That was a great battle with Berserk there. It was very tough to keep him behind. He has like a lot more pace than me, but I feel like I played it well. I feel like I kept it clean as well in my defense, and yeah, it was a fun battle anyway. As further down the field, this is Neontreedome recovering from his disconnection in qualifying by going to the inside of drop bay, who actually understeers wide into the gravel, so very unfortunate for him. I don't believe he lost P9 though, so good job from Neontreedome to recover into P8 after that disconnection. But coming at the end of this race, I think make a few mistakes into this few corners. I was only about 2 seconds behind Berserk, and in case Berserk got a penalty on the final lap, I wanted to keep within 3 seconds. But for some reason, those 2 corners, I dropped down an extra gear for some reason, it lost me a lot of time to Berserk ahead, but he didn't have a penalty anyway. He's going to come through P5, I'm going to come through P6. We're massively, well, we're quite far ahead of Chimchar. He's not going to challenge us at all for the end of this race. Berserk is going to cross the line for P5. I'm P6, which is a pretty good result. I didn't expect to be competitive at all in these wet conditions. And to be up there fighting amongst the, you know, the actual real quick guys in this league, yeah, I'm going to take that. I'm going to take P6. There's great points as well for the championship. I've been quite unlucky in a few rounds so far this season, so it's good to actually have a bit of luck coming my way for once, as Neon crashes across the line for some reason. Not sure why, but Ryan wins the race, Tim Mamaduk is second, Jetson first podium of the season, congrats to him, he had great pace in the wet. Atro P4, Berserk P5, I'm P6, Chimchar P7, Neon P8, Drop Pair P9, and I think it was with Fennec Bird P10. So yeah, a pretty good race. Hope you guys enjoyed that. It's probably the best race of the season. Baku was good, but I did get a higher position, and I feel like the pace was pretty decent. If I'd been on the one stop, if my tyre wear wasn't so shite, I feel like I would have been up there challenging Acho, as his pace wasn't that great. But I'm going to take P6 anyway. I mean, that's, for me, that's a good result. I'm not necessarily the quickest guy in this league, and I don't ever pretend that I am. So to be up there and getting P6, especially when some people crash out, to me sometimes you've got to capitalise when people make mistakes. And I feel like I definitely did that. So hope you guys enjoyed that race. And yeah, hopefully the next one, I think the next one is Silverstone, so that should be a good race. Silverstone is a track I like. I'm not necessarily the quickest at, but it's one I enjoy, and hopefully my tyre wear won't let me down there. Hopefully I can have a good race. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this race and this video. Please leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys for the next one. So see you guys then. Palms up.